The first time you see The Shining, you may not realize, but there are a lot of connections to other movies in it. And one movie I think it's undeniable there is a connection to is the 1951 Disney Alice in Wonderland. Might not seem like it at first, but let's take a look. There are a few main areas of connection I'm looking at here, but the first one is the simplest one. It's the outfits the twins are wearing. That blue dress, of course, it's kind of iconic as Alice's dress. Now you might be thinking that just because the twins in The Shining are wearing blue dresses doesn't mean it's related to Alice in Wonderland. But it is. Just look at the little shoes. Those shoes are, I think, called Mary Jane shoes, and with white socks too. Now look at Alice, the same exact shoes and blue dress. I think this is too specific to be an accident. Also, Alice's dress actually has its own Wikipedia page. I promise, I just stumbled on this accidentally. But it turns out the book doesn't actually mention a color for the dress. And the original drawings that you see here by John Tenniel were just ink drawings. They don't show any color either. Now, later editions of the book did have color drawings, but even then, the dress was done in many different colors, including red, orange, yellow, and chartreuse, which I think is some kind of lime green, and yes, sometimes also blue. But it wasn't really until 1951, when the Disney film came out, that blue dress really became iconic as Alice's dress. Kubrick would have been aware of this film. I absolutely believe the Shining Twins outfits are based off the 1951 Alice in Wonderland film.
Goodbye, Dinah. Good night. Well, after this I shall think nothing of falling downstairs.
The next area of connection is obviously that there are twins in both of these films. Of course, in Alice in Wonderland, those twins are Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who Alice meets in a forest. It's worth noting here that some writers have theorized that the characters in Alice in Wonderland all correspond to different mental illnesses. This was sort of famously done to the Winnie the Pooh characters from the 100-Acre Wood, too. Anyway, Tweedledee and Tweedledum are said to have a shared psychotic disorder, which is a psychiatric syndrome in which a delusional belief or hallucinations are transmitted from one individual to another. Kind of interesting, since the twins in The Shining seem to transmit visions to Danny in certain scenes.
Oh, you can't help that. Most everyone's mad here. You may have noticed that I'm not all there myself.
The next area of connection, and this is the big one, is the maze. Both of these films have a maze that features very prominently and through which the main character is chased. Not a coincidence. In The Shining, Wendy and Danny go walking in the maze, and of course, Danny is chased through it at the end of The Shining. In Alice in Wonderland, she is chased by the Red Queen's guards through a maze. Now look at this shot of Alice entering the maze through a sort of arch. Now look at Danny and Wendy entering the maze through a fairly elaborate, fairy tale-looking arch. It's very similar. Here's a fantastic long shot of Alice in the maze, looking very small. It feels almost dizzy. And here's a clip of Wendy and Danny in the maze, also looking very small.
Ooh, we made it.
The next area of connection may be a bit of a stretch, but I think it's there, and it's that scene where some of the Red Queen's guards are painting the roses red. I think that relates to this scene of the twins in The Shining, who seem to be painted red too, but with blood because of course they've been killed. Another area of connection, I think, involves Jack chasing after Danny and Wendy, eventually chasing Danny with an axe through the maze, just as Alice will be chased by the Red Queen. And here we see Alice, who is also being chased in a maze, followed by the Red Queen, who is yelling, "Off with her head," and then all of the guards behind. Of course, this relates to Danny running through the maze, being chased by his father, who has an axe, trying to kill him.
Danny! I'm coming! You can't get away! I'm right behind you!
Another area of connection could be the Red Queen character. In that same psychological analysis that we discussed before, the Red Queen is supposed to have a narcissistic personality disorder. That's someone who has become self-absorbed and doesn't have empathy for other people. Paranoia is also a feature of this disorder. And that could definitely relate to Jack in The Shining, as he becomes self-absorbed in writing his novel, quote unquote, as well as spending time in the gold room drinking by himself, supposedly, and treats his family pretty badly as he becomes more and more paranoid as he absorbs the evil atmosphere of the Overlook Hotel. Just one more Disney connection in case you still weren't convinced. Here's Danny entering the family apartment at the Overlook, and he's actually wearing a Mickey Mouse sweater, and it's blue. Well, those are just a few of the similarities and strange connections I found between The Shining and Disney's Alice in Wonderland, and why I think Kubrick was absolutely referencing Disney's 1951 film. Hope you liked the video. I'm definitely working on another one, which I hope to have up soon. Also, if you hear any rain or anything in the background, I apologize. I'm in New York, and sometimes it's a little noisy here. But thank you for spending time with me, and have a good day.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. Most everyone's mad here.